So we're up to here on Ois Chavav. The Rebbe spoke about that there is two madreges in the there's two madreges, two pirushim in Poda B'Sholem Nafshi. One that it means that there is a struggle, but then you win over the menagid, it becomes sholem, and the other one that there is not even a menagid over there. In the Maimorim of Yutas Kislev, the Alter Rebbe, the Rebbe discuss the second level of Pada B'Sholem, that it will be even without a milchama. And the Rebbe is going to explain that the work of the Alter Rebbe, Yutas Kislev, is his Yom HaGeula, and the work of the Mittler Rebbe of Yud Kislev is his Yom HaGeula. They worked a lot with Baal Teshuvah. So because they worked with the Baal Teshuvah, that brought about the that special level in their avodah, in the avodah of Bisholim, that it should be in a way me'ain, similar to what it's going to be in the future, where there's not going to be a menagid. Let's look inside. Chavav. Ubiur shaychus inyan zeh. And to explain this, the connection from this idea that we say shegam achshav yesh me'ein habdiya b'sholem de la'osi lovi. So we were talking about before that even now in la'osi lovi is going to be the real b'diya b'sholem, is going to be ruach hatuma avir, is going to be no other side. But also in Zman HaGolus, the Rebbe discussed, there is me'ein habdiya b'sholem de la'osid love. There is somewhat of that redemption of sholem that will be in the future. So how to connect this idea lahaguula de Yutes Kislev de Yud Kislev to the redemption that took place on Yutes Kislev and Yud Kislev? And who says there is a connection? Because in the Maimorim discussing Yud Yutas Kislev, it talks about the second level of Sholem that is not going to be a menaged. Shalochein bahadrushim shenemru bizmanim elu. Therefore, in the Maimorim that were said during these periods, during the time of Yutas Kislev and Yud Kislev, mevura pirush habezdalil. Over there, it's the second interpretation. Podu b'sholim, that there's not even going to be a war. There's not going to be a menagid. Shapoda b'sholem nafshi, hu inyan ha'pediyah b'derech sholem. That poda b'sholem nafshi is redeeming in a way of sholem, which is the second interpretation, that there's not going to be a menagid. V'at, to such an extent, it's going to be in such a way, the pediyah, like going to be in the future. So why does he explain that? So what's the connection that Pada B'Sholem on this higher level, like it's going to be lost in love it to Yutas Kislev and Yud Kislev? Hine, Nisbarli Il, Sif Chai. Earlier, in Sif 18, the Alter Rebbe explained, Shehatam lo zeh, Shemagdim b'zoyhar v'shavti b'sholem inyan hatshuva livenosim lilachem goymer. The Rebbe asked before in Sif Yudches, Sif Chai, how come in the Zohar when he quotes the pasuk, the psukim, he first says v'shavti b'sholem, which is the idea of tshuva, before he talks about Torah mitzvahs, which is the v'nosan lilechem beged lilbash, which is Torah mitzvahs. In the pasuk, it says v'nosan lilechem lechel beged lilbash, and then v'shavti b'sholem. So basically, we translate that lechem lechel beged lilbash is the avodah of Torah mitzvahs, and in the pasuk, then shavti b'sholem, then comes the inyan hatshuva. But in the Zohar, he brings the pasuk v'shavti b'sholem first, the inyan hatshuva, and then nosanim lechem. So, so what does the Rebbe explain over there is לפי שבזויר שו מדבר בעניין סוף זמן הגולוס. Because the Zohar over there talks at the end of the exile. The Zohar is talking about the exile in the time of the exile, Sha'oz Iker ha'avodah, then the main avodah, gam ha'avodah, the Torah mitzvahs, even the avodah of Torah mitzvahs, he avodah satshuva, is the avodah of tshuva. Rebbe explained that tshuva, the igolus, is a struggle, it's hardship, it's trying to turn around. It is then that it's mainly avodah satshuva. So therefore, we start with the inyan of sholem, shavti b'sholem, and then v'nosan shal yidei zeh naser, because since it starts with sholem, with shuva, nasa hapedia, through this b'derech sholem ein hasholem the losid love. This brings similar to the sholem of the future, because we start, everything is with the avodas hatshuva. Mikivon she'inyan hatshuva hi hafichas halu'umazeh likedusha, because tshuva turns the other side to kedusha. Memela, there is no menagid, and that's the avodah in the Seif Zman Hagolus. When Shafti B'Sholem is first, the inyan of Sholem, the inyan of tshuva is first, because that's the main avodah, and that's the turnaround that brings the higher level of sholem, like it's going to be lost in love. Zuhi, so that's the Rebbe explained earlier in the Zohar. Why the Zohar starts with V'shavti b'sholem? Because the Zohar is talking about the Zman Hagolus, in which the main avodah is the V'shavti b'sholem, the afichas le'umazeh lekedusha. And that's also connected to the work of the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe. V'zuhi gam hashaychus. And this is also the connection, the poda b'sholem nafshi, legeulas admur hazoken, to the redemption of the Alter Rebbe Yutas Kislev, v'admur ha'mtzoi, in the Mittler Rebbe, which is Yud Kislev. Why? Ki meha inyonim shenischatshu al yidei admur hazoken. What were the matters that came about, renewed? They were the novelty that started by the Alter Rebbe. Even if we measure it relative to his Rebbe, the Magid, Gam legabe harav hamagid, even with regards to the Magid, hu she'osa harbe balei teshuva. The Alter Rebbe made a lot of Baal Teshuva. That was the work of the Alter Rebbe. Ve'inyan zeh hoyo gam avedosam shel rabbeinu nisienu memalei mekoymei. And this aspect, this area of making a lot of Baal Teshuva, was also the work of our Rebbes, our leaders, those who filled the place of the Alter Rebbe. Ubefrat, especially shel benoi admur ha'mtzoi, the son of the Alter Rebbe, the Mittler Rebbe, shal yodei nizgale inyan zeh, through him was revealed this idea of making Baal Tshuva, as the Rebbe brings down references to Sicha in the note over here. So basically, the idea of Baal Tshuvas that the Alter Rebbe and the Rebbeim worked, that brought about the same idea as we said in the Zohar, that it's mainly is the level of Bisholim, to turn around and to bring about the inyan from Mishapcha, and therefore that brings Me'ain, the La'osid Lavai, in the level of Pada B'Sholim Nafshi. So we done V'nosel Lechem Lechel U'Beged Lilbash B'Shavti B'Sholim El Beis Ovi, whether B'Shavti comes first or comes second, but after this, the pasuk says V'Hoya Havaya Li Lelikim. Havaya will become the level of Elikim. Shal Yidei Ha'avodah, the V'shavti B'Sholem. Through this service, the work of V'shavti B'Sholem, and we said, return with peace means to bring about the birurim of the matters of the world, the Avnei Amokim. Shu inyan birur chelkei ba'olam. That is the sorting out his portion in the world that is coming back with the shalom he made, that he turned things around in the world. Kinal Sifchas, as we said earlier in Sifchas. So then, Yiyeh Hagilui de Losid Love. Then will be the revelation of the future to come. So we will merit the future to come. What's going to happen? Over there it says, Sha'oz Yotzei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chama min Artika. Hashem will take out the sun from its seat. The seat covers the sun now, so we don't have the full impact, the full force of the sun, because it's covered by a nartik, by a seat. But when the Eibishter takes out the sun from its seat, it will be a tremendous greater level of revelation. The world will be filled with knowledge of Hashem, just like water covers the ocean. To the extent that the Atzmus itself will be revealed. Not only the shine of the Chamad, but the Atzmus himself will be revealed. As it says, "V'lo yikonef oid meirecha," your teacher will no longer hide. V'hoye necha re'eses marecha, and your eyes will see your teacher, which means you'll see the Eibishter. Eibishter will no longer hide, will be a Gila Atzmus. V'zeu, this is what it means, v'hoye abayid li'lelikim. That at that point, Havaya is going to be Elikim, because there's going to be so much greater light. So then that was before Havaya is no longer the great light. That's going to be Elikim. Shalagabi Gili Zeh, relative to the Gili that's going to be Losid Love, Havaya Da'achshav Kelechim Yechoshev. The Havaya that we think is the great shine that comes from Shem Havaya is only going to be considered like Elikim, because it's going to be such a tremendous, greater light of Gilui Ha'atzmus, the Gilui of Lo Yikonefet Meirecha, V'oyenecha Reis Meirecha. We will be able to see godliness. That takes place through what? Through the Avodas HaTshuva, through the Avodas HaBirurim. Through bringing back V'shavti B'Sholem, bringing this Sholem back. Chavches, Koyach, the final ois. V'zeu V'shavti B'Sholem El Beis Ovi. And this is, I will return B'Sholem to my father's home. Shekoyi Kinal Al Avedas HaBirurim. As we said before, returning with peace, meaning returning with Avedas HaBirurim. You made this peace in the world, and you come back with that peace that you made, that's B'Sholem. That's what you're returning. Sha'alidei Nase, through this, Tutzich Oif, it accomplishes Inyan V'shavti B'Sholem Sheyiyeh La'osid. The return B'Sholem will be in the future. The revelations and the coming of Mashiach and the revelation. Ad to the extent that then will be the idea that this Evan that you turned around was the Daimim, you did the Avedas HaBirurim, as the Rebbe explained, becomes the Beis Elikim, that becomes the dwelling place for Elikim, which the Rebbe said before is Atzmus, which is higher, even higher than the level of the Hoyavai Elikim, as the Rebbe spoken before. So B'zeh Gufa. So the fact that this is all accomplished through what we do now, our Avodah, is Gufa Meira Al Goydel HaIlui, This points to the great advantage shebahavoida the zman hagolus in the work that we do in the end of the time of golus. Sheikir ha'avoida oz hi avoida satshuva. That the main avoida in this man hagolus is the level of tshuva. Ve'ad shegam ha'avoida, so much so is avoida satshuva that the Zohar switches it around, as we said before. Shagam ha'avoida the Torah mitzvahs. Even the avodah of Torah mitzvahs, lechem ubeged, shes b'soiv is man hagolus, which is in the end of golus. He la'achrei ktimas avodah satshuva. Over here, it's after first you have the avodah satshuva v'shavti b'sholim, and then is nosan the lechem. Sharei al yidei ha'avodah the tshuva u'maisim tovim. That through the avodah of tshuva, first teshuva, and then maisim tovim. Over here too, we're saying that the maisim tovim come after kedimas hatshuva, same like bisholim before v'noson lechem li lechem, before lechem comes averis hatshuva. Over here too, tshuva maisim tovim. And nase tutzich oif, it accomplishes inyan. V'shavti b'sholim goymer sheyiyah losid loved. The inyan of v'shavti b'sholim, which is going to be in the future to come. This is the avodah of now, when sholem comes before even avodah hatshuva, before the avodah of Torah mitzvahs. Ve'ad, to such an extent, sheyofe sha'achaz b'tshuva maisim tovim ba'olam hazeh mikol chaye ha'olam haba. So we're saying now that it's such an extent, it's so powerful what we do now in this world. Not only does it bring us to Lasid Lavai, but it's in a way better and more yofe, more beautiful what we do now. Yofe sha'achas b'tshuva u'maisim tovim ba'olam hazeh. 1 hour of tshuva maisim tovim in this world is more beautiful mikol chaya ha'olam haba, or the olam haba. So even though olam haba is brought about, we're zoichet la'asid lavei because of the tshuva maisim tovim, but the cause that brings us la'asid lavei is greater than what it brings. Lifi shegoyrem hadavar, because what causes this matter, what brings about chaya olam haba, is chazok yoser manas al yadai, is stronger than that which it makes through it, which is accomplished through it. So that is why it's better. V'gam, and also lifi shahatainug the olam haba hu tainug ha'adam shehu nivra. The pleasure in olam haba is the delight, is the tainug of a human being. So what is the level of chaya olam haba? The tainug is a nivra tainug. But tainug, the tshuva maisim tovim b'olam hazeh, the tshuva maisim tovim, like this word, hu tainug abayda, that's Hashem's delight. So therefore, it's a yofesh o'achas. That gives us a little bit of an insight of the importance and the magnitude of what we're accomplishing in the Seif Zman Hagolus through our tshuva maisim tovim. Ubefrat, especially shezeh shal yidei ha'avodah da'achshov. We said that through the work of today, tutzich oif hagilui the la'osid, that we're saying that we're accomplishing, but we get somewhat of we accomplish even now. So through the avodah the achshav, now tutzich oif hagilui the la'osid, who be'oifen, that this that we're accomplishing in the future, who be'oifen sheme'ein hagilu de la'osid yesh gam achshav, that somewhat of the gil of the future we have now. Kinal sif chavdal chofei, over there we Rebbe said that we merit now to get some of that because we work at it, even though the full gilu is going to be la'osid lavei, but some of it we get now. The Mekivon Sheha'avoida Shebeseiv Zman HaGolus Ya'avodas HaTshuva. Because the Avoida at the end of Golus is the Avodas HaTshuva, as we said, Ubebal Teshuva Nemar. And with regards to Bal Teshuva, it says, V'hoyo Terem Yikro, which means Vani Ena. The Eibishter responds even before you call. That means Bisman HaGolus, in the end of Golus, even before the Geula comes, and we haven't yet called out for the Geula, the Eibishter responds, which means he gives us now from the Geula, Lochein. Therefore, Gam, B'soiv Zman HaGolus, the end of the time of, towards the end of the time of Golus. Ubefrat kshiyesh gam hatfilo yikro, especially when we're also davening for it. B'shavti b'sholim, we're praying to be returned b'sholim. So we're praying for the geula. So we have the maila by a Bal Tshuva. Since we're Bal Tshuvas, we have the maila terem yikro that we get responded to even before. Nasekvar v'ani ene. Already happens, already is accomplished. I will respond. Hamshochas v'gilui me'ein ha'inyonim de la'osid. We draw down and we reveal somewhat of those matters that will be in the future, but we already, terem yikro, we already have it now. Ubedugmas Yaakov. And this should be similar to Yaakov. Shebi yoyse adayin b'choron. While he was still in Choron, the man, Yaakov, burst out very, very much. He had lots of sheep. Shezehu ha'ikar. That's the main, because that's the Avedas Habirurim, the Tzoyin Rabbis. The Rebbe brings the source for that, and the Shvoches Avod Gmalim Chaborim. Basically, the Yidden Yaakov had plenty in Gashmias. Physically, he had all this fortune. Al derech zehu b'kol echad v'echad miYisrael. Similar to this by every Yid, shebesoiv zman hagolus, that in the end of the time of Golus, the Rebbe is blessing us in our time when we're in the end of the time of Golus. We're still in Choron. We're in Golus. We should burst out very, very much. In a way of Podo B'Sholim. No menagid. With a menagid, win him over. All interpretation and all details. Hein ba'avodah haruchnis, both in the spiritual service, or befrat, what would be sholem in the spiritual service? Befrat belimud v'afotzas teres hachasidus, learning and spreading chasidus. That's the avodah haruchnis. That it should be b'sholem sheyeh bli shum bilbulim. It should be without any confusions. Or betachlis harchova. And totally in a wide way. That means b'sholim. No opposition. Learning and spreading Chasidus without any distractions. Behem binyonim hagashmim. Also in the physical matters. Ruchnis and gashmis. Ube'oifen d'ufaratzta. In a way to burst out. As the Pasuk says, Vayifroitz ha'ish moed moed. Yaakov burst out. Shezeh yimahir. This will hasten and speed up the future redemption. As the Pasuk says, Achisheno, I will make it quick. And the Rebbe adds, Ba'achisheno gufa. In Achisheno, make it in quick, even quicker. Shebekorev mamish, that very soon yekate som lachoshech. There should be an end. Hashem put an end to the darkness. And we will greet Mashiach, the face of a righteous Mashiach. Who he will lead us to our holy land. Eretz asher goimer tomideina Hashem alakecha bo. To such a land which Hashem's eyes are always in Eretz Yisrael. Mereisis hashonovad achri shono. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Eretz Yisrael ligvulaseo, entire Eretz Yisrael, all of the boundaries that the Eibishter has given us. V'achar kach. And later on, after first inheriting the boundaries that the Eibishter gave us, but the Hashem promised that eventually He's going to add more to the land of Eretz Yisrael. V'gam zeh b'oifen achishenu, that will also be in a quick way. Yarchiv Hashem elikecha es gvulcha, God will widen your territory. Ubekorev mamish, very soon. Ubagol very soon. This mimer, as it says here, was published in the Kuntris Rosh Chodesh Kislev Tovshim Memches, and this was 10 years of the Yom HaBoyer of Rosh Chodesh Kislev Tovshim Lamed Ches to Tovshim Memches, and the Rebbe was given published on Erev Shabbat Vorchen Kislev Shnas Hakel Shnas Tovshim Memches, and then the Rebbe that Shabbos was the weekend in which they got together for the Kinus HaShluchim. And then the Rebbe distributed this Maimer personally to each and every one of the Shluchim, got a copy of this Maimer, of this V'Shavti B'Sholem. This is a very famous Maimer. Like I said, the Rebbe said this Maimer from his room. I believe it took 1 hour and 17 minutes to say it, and covered, a whole bunch of topics, but what we learned today is the special connection of the Sholem, the interpretation of Potu B'Sholem, in a way of there's no menagid, there's no opposition, in a way of peace, that it's connected, especially Bisman Hagolus, as the Zoyar says, now the main avodah is Teshuvah, even before Torah mitzvahs. We have the Shavti B'Sholem first, and he says that the Rebbes did with Bali Tshuva, so they merited to get the Me'ein La'osid Lova in the way that it was in a way of Padiyah B'Sholem. And then that will hasten, bring the actual Geula when it will be Avayli Lelikim, because the level what is now considered Havaya will not be so great, because the Eibishter will open up, the sun will come out from its seat, which means Hashem will shine, Hashem won't hide anything. So everything which is now seems great is going to be less, because only Elikim, because the real revelations will be much higher. And so all of this, the Rebbe says, is accomplished through our work now. Our work now brings it all about. But not only does it bring it about for the future, but we get a semblance of it. We get some of it in today in the world, and especially because by Abal Tshuva it says before he calls, he's already answered. So the Rebbe is alluding here also we have to ask for Mashiach. Shavti B'Sholem, we're asking to be returned. So through our prayer, the Rebbe says Pasha B'Gashmis will burst out. Beruchnius, spreading Chasidus, will be without Bilbulim, but also B'Gashmis to reach a level of tremendous success and wideness in having all in Yonim, like by Yaakov, in a way of Ufaratzto, by Yifretz Ishmael Ma'od. And the Rebbe prays and blesses that this should happen very soon. Entire Eretz Yisrael, B'Korev Mamesh, Agola Didan. Whoa. Okay.
Have a good day.
We did it. We did it. See you soon. Yeah, okay. Baruch Hashem.